Okay, so last week we did this for the first time ever. We decided to take a public Shopify store and that nobody knew we were going to critique, and then just kind of roast it live for everybody to see and show you kind of how we go through and dissect these stores.
Does that work?
There we go. Now we got you. Okay. So Matt's in California right now instead of here in the office with me, so we're going to be switching back and forth between video. But just to continue on with what I was saying is that last week we decided that we're going to pick a store and we're going to go critique it. And we said, we can pick a store that's really broken. We could pick something else. And we're like, you know what? Why don't we pick one of the top performing Shopify stores or top revenue generating Shopify stores in the market and look at that store. Okay. So we wound up and we decided to pick Kylie Cosmetics, which is Kylie Jenner's Shopify store, which is about a $200-ish million a year store. I believe it's a top 5 Shopify store, and it's kicking ass. So we decided to critique through that. And when we did, what everybody realized, and we already knew because we had kind of looked at it, was that it's still broken. Okay. It's really broken. And it's so broken that we could, if BGS was involved with helping them, we feel we could easily double their revenue and turn that into a $400 million store or something ridiculous like that, because there's so many of the things that are still wrong. Okay. The important takeaway that we wanted you guys to have there was that not that Kylie's store is doing 200 million and yours isn't or whatever like that, but rather than even a store that's doing well still has lots and lots and lots of room for improvement. And everything that we were showing you on her store was principle based, not specific to Kylie or anything like that. So meaning that all those things that we showed you that were wrong with Kylie's store are things that are probably wrong with your store too and could easily be fixed and give yourself a nice little lift in conversions, in revenue, and everything else. So before I share my screen and we start part 2, Matt, why don't you just kind of summarize your overall thoughts on the first half of the critique of what you saw when we went through the first 3 pages of the site?
I think I saw what we typically see, from a stock Shopify theme. It's built like a catalog. It's not really built like a sales funnel. And so a lot of people also make the assumption when they log in and say, oh, this store is doing really well. It seems like a lot of people copy that type of a store and think, oh, that's the way that you're supposed to do it. But really, the things that we pointed out are just things that we've learned through experience by, working on this every single day. So I don't think it wasn't new for us to see that kind of thing, but based on the comments that we saw and the feedback that we gave, people seemed to, once they saw what we were pointing out, they got the aha moments from it.
So what pages did we do last week and what pages are we going to do today?
We did the home page, the category page, and we started on the product page before we ran out of time. So I think we're going to start on the product page today, just kind of recap what we did and then move forward. And
moving forward is we're going to what? We're going to do cart.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We go from the product page to the cart page and then the checkout. Yeah.
Now, when we, just to clarify for those of you who didn't see the part 1, what Matt and I are going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to point out all the things that we see are wrong based on our experience with gazillions of hours of revenue optimization. Now, what we're saying though is just because we're saying, hey, this is something that needs to be fixed, understand that everything that we do is 100% backed by data. Okay, so even though we're saying, hey, we would fix this on this store, that doesn't mean we would simply go out and make the change. What it does is means we would set up a split test and we would test the change against what's already there because we know, hey, this is something that should impact positively their revenue or whatever aspect we're tweaking. But we're not going to just blindly take that because every store is different. Things are contextual. And so a change that we know, we say, hey, this is the thing, we're going to back it up with data before we make it a committed permanent change. So obviously with this store, with Kylie's store, we don't have access to her existing data. So we're looking at this from a top level thing. However, I can say with probably based on our experience and all the stores that we do work with and all the data that we are able to see, what we're showing you as issues is about 95% accurate. Okay. With that other 5% is the contextual side where maybe we say, hey, this black button isn't going to perform very well, but just because it's Kylie, it happens to perform better than somebody else or than a green button or whatever. So with that said, understand that we're not blindly just saying, hey, we're smart and we're going to make this the change. We're going to back it up with data and use Google Tag Manager and all of those things to make it happen.
Yeah. And one of our rules is that there's no absolute.
A little louder.
Say that again?
A little louder.
Okay, yeah. One of our rules is that there's no absolutes. So for sure, like you said, everything that we do is test. We want to make sure that we're not like injecting our own biases into it. So the things that we're talking about are principle-based that we've seen across every site. So for, like you said, for the most part, these are just best practices that we're talking about that they're not following. But regardless, we would still test. And that way we have the data moving forward too as a new control.
Yep. And then the other thing that, just to clarify, what we are doing, what we are talking about is something that we call revenue optimization, not conversion rate optimization, but actual revenue optimization. What the differentiator is that conversion rate optimization is all about just obviously dialing the conversion rate, optimizing that, making that better. What we found, and what's the truth is that conversion rate is the easiest thing in the world to optimize. All we have to do is drop your price ridiculously low, and all of a sudden your conversion rate goes up. But your revenue goes down, everything else goes down, you're no longer profitable. What we focus on is the money, and specifically the money that goes into your pocket. Okay, so we've kind of coined a new term, which is revenue optimization, and everything that we do in the optimization world fits within that framework. It's all designed to optimize your top level and in net revenue. Okay, what's actually going into your pocket, because that's what's important. So you may see some of the things that we do that like, wait, traditional conversion rate optimization guys wouldn't do that. Well, cool, because they're focused on the conversion rate. I'd rather you have a slightly lower conversion rate, but a whole bunch more money in your pocket. And Matt feels the same way. So with that said, though, we still get ridiculous conversion rates. Our average conversion rate on one of our stores is probably 6.5%, and they just continue to go up from there. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in, and let's take a look. Let me share my screen, and let's look at, where is it? Desktop? That one. Okay, so let me know if you guys can see this.
Yeah, I can see it.
Awesome. Okay, so this is Kylie's website. We already, if you want to know like what we thought about the home page, the category page, the product page, those kind of things, go ahead and check out version or part 1 of this. It's on it's on the Tanner Larson Facebook page. It's on the Build, Grow, Scale Facebook page. You should see it right below this video. We'll actually get a link in the comments for you for the video 1 as well. But we already went through this. We're not going to go through it again. We're going to hop over here, and we're going to focus on, let me close these extra windows real quick. We're going to focus on the product page and moving on forward into the cart. So Matt, we're actually kind of doing this in reverse order right now, right? The way we normally break down a site.
Yeah, so the reason why we go backwards, we go from the checkout and the cart page first, is because if those aren't functioning well, then all the changes that we make on the front of the store to get more customers to add to cart and check out, it's basically wasted. So we make sure that the checkout and the cart is functioning as good as possible, and then we work through the store and optimize those pages so that when they do work better, we actually know it and it shows on the cart, because it's much easier to have better data too. Just because like we fix the home page and we get them to move to a category page doesn't necessarily mean that would be more profitable. We want to know all the way through the whole funnel. So we fix the cart and checkout first, and then as we move backwards, our data will tell us, okay, if we click this menu item, they convert at this percentage. And if they click this add to cart on the product page, they convert at this percentage. So all of that matters to us. We really, like we said, with revenue optimization, that's what matters. So not just that we get them to take the next action, which is important, but not the main thing.
Yeah. So 2 key things that I want you to take away from what he was just talking about. Number 1 is that in terms of the way we're working through the site right now, we're working through it the same way a customer would experience it to break it down. But when we go into actually implementing the optimization and working with our stores and our clients, we actually start from the money page, which is a checkout page, and work our way backwards so that the optimizations get better as they get. So we start with the most qualified people, get them to convert as best, and then we start widening that net as we get out to the homepage, because these are the least qualified people when they're out on the homepage. Okay, so that's the first one. And the second piece of that is it's data backed, right? So everything we're doing is designed so that we know exactly from what button they clicked, what image they hovered over, everything. Okay, so there's no guesswork in what we're doing. And what we're going to show you is backed by millions upon millions of dollars a month in ad spend. So we're able to test significantly faster and more effectively than a lot of other people. So with this, we've already kind of jumped into Kylie's product page a little bit, but one of the things we just noticed again as we pulled this up is that, considering it's Kylie and she's got celebrity status and things like that, and her brand is doing significantly a lot of volume and has lots of customers, she has practically zero review presence, right?
Yeah, which we know that reviews drive sales. People want to see what other people feel or what their opinion is of the product after they've used it. They don't want to just buy it because.
And what we can see on here is that she's basically using, you can only see it down here at the bottom too. It's not even it looks like the standard Shopify built-in review process, which is not what you want to use. The reviews, as we talked about last week, should look like Amazon reviews, should be colorful and, trust-inspiring. And the fact is that when you combine the fact that, with her celebrity status, her following, the kind of like cult-like fan base she has, she should be having thousands of reviews on her site and hundreds of reviews per product, which would be very easy to implement if you had the right system in place. And doing that as well would make a significant impact in her, her sales conversions and just obviously her take rate on our products, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay. So we've already talked about the product page. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on the product page before we jump into the cart?
I just wanted to say, there's a lot of things that aren't addressed here. So when people are thinking about whether they want to buy something or not, they want to know, how soon they're going to get it, how soon it'll ship, details, you just opened the details, but that's behind something that's really not even that clear. She could create tabs here.
I missed it the first time we went through the site. I only noticed it the second time around.
Yeah, so instead you're focused down on these other 3 dark black buttons that are saying add to cart, and they don't have any details with them either. This is the right spot to offer more products, but it should be tied into what she's sharing right here. So I'm not sure how a brush goes with eyeliner. It's not really my niche to know a lot about, but for sure she should address how soon it'll ship, give them easy access to what her return policy is, because that's another thing that if you leave it out in the open for people to see it, then they trust you more. A lot of the things that we do are literally to develop trust, because then that way it nudges them to the next step. It's basically pretty plain page without giving any details whatsoever in order to help the customer decide to make a decision.
Yeah. Now, with the way Shopify has blown up, and actually just online shopping in general, there are so many stores out there and so many of them are shady. Simply having a store no longer is a credibility factor. You guys can't hear me?
You're frozen too.
Okay, so it's no longer it's not a credibility point. It's actually just you're one of the crowd, right? So it's important that you take those extra steps on your store to, make the customer feel comfortable, because they visit lots of sites. You visit lots of sites. And if you get that weird vibe or that little shady feeling at any point, you're going to bounce. You're not going to trust them with your money. So the more you do here, and obviously Kylie, again, celebrity status, it makes it a little different, but that doesn't excuse her from following the same principles that actually make her customers satisfied, comfortable, and, secure on her site. And by doing that on her site, she'd actually do significantly better, because those people who do have those reservations, that would be addressed before they have to try to buy or add to cart or things like that.
Yeah, the way that I would describe it is obviously, so she has her rabid followers that are going to buy from her regardless. She's also got a lot of people that are going to land on her site just because of the amount of sales it makes and the amount of press that she has. It doesn't mean that they're going to trust her. So right now, by leaving all of those trust symbols off or all these things that would help people trust the store or understand what she's about, she's not serving that market at all, where she certainly could with not a lot of effort, and her market would grow just from that alone.
Yeah. So again, all the detailed critique on the product page is on the part 1. So we're going to go ahead and jump onto the cart and get into the new stuff that for those people who haven't seen it. Okay. So first of all, it's a side slide cart, which we've tested. We do have a side slide cart that we developed that works incredibly well. But in most cases, the side slide carts, the ones like this, actually hurt your conversions quite a bit. They're not trustworthy. They're not what they're expecting. And there's a lot of issue with them. It's almost treated like a pop-up, right? So if you're going to do a side slide cart, you need to do it the right way. Now, what I'm saying here also, got to clarify this. Matt and I are showing you what's wrong with all here. We're not really giving you the fixes. Okay. We do that. All right. We're hosting an event. Actually, I want to just throw that out there. Build, Grow, Scale Live 2018, July 23rd and 24th in Reno, where we're going to be breaking down all of our sites, taking you behind the scenes and showing you not only what to fix, but hey, here's how you fix it. Here's what it looks like when it's fixed. Here's the results when you fix it, and giving you all that stuff. But on this critique right now, all we really want to do is point out all the things that are problem areas that need to be addressed, because it would turn into a ridiculously long training if we tried to also teach the how to fix each little step here, okay? So if you want to go to that event, if you think that'd be good for you, go to buildgrowscalelive.com. There'll be a link in the chat here somewhere for you guys as well. Okay, so Matt, why don't you jump in on this side cart real quick?
Okay, I'm gonna point out a couple good things that she has right now so far. One, that the little arrow on the button that says checkout. We've tested icons, arrows, and those different things. And on your checkout button, having that little arrow indicating that when you click it, you're going to move forward works very well. The other thing that she has a plus and a minus in the cart in order to add and subtract rather than make them click inside the field to adjust the quantity. That's very good. And then the other thing, just having the little thumbnail of the picture is works well as also. The things that I would say that she needs to work on is it doesn't say the number of items in her cart. She has 3 different color buttons, and we always suppress the other payment buttons until you get to the payment page. And I fought this for a long time. I always thought, well, PayPal works so well on these sites. For sure it would convert better to give it to them ahead of time. And we've tested it over and over and over because I really wanted it to win, and it never does. We
don't let these extra payment buttons show up until they're in the checkout, not even the customer information page.
Right. The reason for that is also if someone clicks PayPal and then they abandon their cart, you have no way to set up your abandoned sequences for that because they've never actually entered any information on your checkout page. So just that alone, besides the fact that it converts worse like this, you have no way to go institute your abandoned cart program if someone clicks on one of these other payment buttons before that. If you have the customer enter their information, get to the shipping page, and then go to the payment page and they use one of these, you've lost nothing, and it actually converts better. So I would just say this is offering the different payment icons too soon.
And the thing is, I want to clarify, guys, there is no loss of PayPal conversion or Amazon Pay conversion by moving this. So if, like in a lot of our stores, PayPal makes up 25 to 30% of the sales. When we move the button, conversions actually go up, but PayPal stays the same. It's still 25 to 30% of the stuff. We just moved where they access it, where it actually makes more sense. But the reason sales, revenue, everything else goes up is because we are capturing that information in the right way and presenting pieces at the right time.
Yeah. So another thing that I would say that they should remove is where it says shipping calculated at checkout. They're going to make that assumption, but now what you've done is you've basically shined a light on this. Okay, it's not $10.
I don't know what I'm going to pay now.
Plus some unknown amount that we'll tell you about later. So that will prevent them from actually moving forward, literally just because it's an unknown. We call it a false click. So people aren't going to click on something they don't know what it's going to net. And at this point, you're basically telling them we're going to throw on some extra fees later on.
Which obviously nobody likes. Even though they know it's coming, they still don't want to think about it like that, because that creates a negative or a disconnect. And it's like, ooh, do I really want to buy this?
Yeah,
do I have the money to buy this?
At this point, you just want another commitment, which is to click the button to go to the next step.
So now normally we would go ahead and click checkout, but I want to try something first. So I'm going to go ahead and close the cart, and I can see it added it up here, but I want to see what happens. Okay, so it pops up again, adds another item if I click it again. Let's see if there's an actual cart. There is no actual cart.
So go click checkout and then reverse it.
Okay, so what we're trying to do right now is get to the traditional Shopify cart. So I'm going to click checkout.
We'll do this. Once they get to the checkout page, then they'll back up.
Yep, and then we'll go back to the cart, and let's see if it takes us back to the home page.
Well, that's terrible.
So this is really bad, okay? Obviously, I wanted to go back to the cart, but now I'm confused because I wound up on a home page, and now I'm getting blasted with this slider again, which we obviously don't want.
So one thing, we actually test and track what breadcrumbs people click on. And we noticed that the people that actually click back into their cart page actually convert really, really well. So a lot of times what we think, I mean, this is just our hypothesis, is that they've added, scroll down and see if you can do it down by the other payment button. So hit return to cart there.
It's home page again.
Wow, yeah, that's broken. For sure that's broken. So that's a big deal because a lot of people will put things in their cart in order to compare price, especially right here where it says shipping and that is calculated at checkout. So they're going to go look and see how much it is. They still don't have it here. And if they want to go backwards to remove one of those items, they got to go to their home page. I honestly don't know how they'll get back to it. So if you go back to the home page and click on the cart icon, see if it flips out.
It pops out again if I go. So I'm on the home page, then I go to my cart, and it pops up again.
Okay.
So you can get back to it, but it's multi-step, but it's still not a true cart. Most side slide carts, and the ones that work, still have the traditional cart attached that's accessible, which we're all used to seeing. So that if they click on their cart up top or they click return to cart, it takes them back here. The side slide usually only fires on an add to cart real quick. So if they want to check out fast, they can, but it should not be this way. This is definitely hurting your sales.
If you click on the cart icon that's got the little 2 next to it, so close that and then click that. If that does it.
It's going to pop up again.
Okay, yeah, same thing. Yeah, for sure this is not ideal at all. So
no, and we have gazillions of bits of data and info that points to the fact that this is also, how the carts need to work, and how we also, it's not just the data, we also actually record our visitors' histories, and we pay user testing companies to have people come in and use the stuff. And then we watch, hundreds of hours of customer interaction on our various stores to see how they migrate through the site, what they click on, where they jump back to. And, if they were watching this on this site, they would see a definite problem here. And I would imagine they're having a higher level of abandonment here.
Yeah.
Significantly higher because of the confusion factor.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're here on the customer information page, which is typically the only page you can edit in the cart, and it's bone stock.
Yeah. For one, we do auto check, subscribe to our newsletter because you want to be able to market to your people. They can uncheck that if they want, but I got to believe that she could generate an insanely large email list, which should be 30% of the revenue on your store. So if she's not even, to be honest, at this point, I'll probably buy some just to see if they email, but I would imagine that they probably don't have a real good email program in place. The other thing that I noticed is missing here is there's still no trust. She doesn't give them customer support. She doesn't give them a phone number or anything. We know that when people get to this point, if they have questions, they're going to want, this is the decision time before they actually give you their money. And so if they have questions, by putting your phone number here, you're basically saying, hey, we're available. If you have any issues before you spend your money with us, go ahead, just give us a call and we'll take care of that, or we'll answer it for you. So for sure, they need something here besides Kylie Cosmetics by Kylie Jenner, because that doesn't do anything for the customer. All that does is make her feel good.
Yeah. And again, along with that, like the visible trust symbols, which are things like the secure site, the SSL encryption, even a fast shipping or a satisfaction guarantee badge, things like that. We still use those on these pages. Okay. One thing I meant to mention earlier that I didn't is, and Matt had alluded to it, is stores are set up like catalogs. Okay. And that's one of the reasons that I wrote my book, to talk about how stores are bad basically, and you need to, have a sales funnel or something like that. We actually treat every store as a sales funnel. Okay, so it's still the same. It's just a changed way of thinking, in that we still use the store, but we think about each step in the process and the flow as a sales funnel, and we still use upsells and all that stuff as well. But by changing that perspective, we're able to get this catalog to act and mimic the functionality or the flow, the customer journey and the customer experience of a sales funnel much better. And that's why our sites convert so much better. Because when you leave it stock like this, and when you follow the traditional methodology of ecom, Shopify, all that kind of stuff, you're going to get the normal type results, which are antiquated results, right? All this may look nice with the nice rounded forms and things like that, but this checkout page is the same style checkout page they were using in 2001. Not Shopify, but ecom in general. Yeah,
and the other thing that we've know for a fact too is congruency throughout the whole site. So if you remember, on the homepage was black buttons. On the product,
her whole site is black buttons.
Her cart's black buttons, and now all of a sudden you get to this point and you have a blue button. It makes no sense. Like whoever has set this, actually nobody's set it up, because you can go in and make this
default
page look like the rest of your store, and it should. You don't want that disconnect, that when you get to this part of the page, you go, oh, okay, now it's blue where it was black before. What's going on?
Yeah, there's just a lot of disconnection. But I mean, this is obviously the store does well, but this part, I guarantee you, if we look at the Kylie Cosmetics stats, which Matt and I have never seen, right? But we can guarantee you, if you look at their stats, you have their add to cart, right? Their reach checkout, everything like that, all these different stats. We would see a huge drop off. Like, I mean, boom, when people hit this page.
Yeah.
And without even, I mean, it would be literally like falling off a cliff, and then it would be down here. So if this was 18, this would be like 3.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a large percentage that will not convert here, just because of the way that it's set up.
Yeah, and that all of that, Matt, right, is super simple. That stuff that any theme can have done. You have full control of that in your account. This isn't magic, right?
No, you just go to your, literally just go to the settings tab, click on checkout, and you can change the color of the outline on these boxes, change the color of your button. You can upload an image where she does have her logo. It looks like she just pulled it from her store, but you can actually create an image that has the trust with it, that would have like a phone number or an email or something like that, and just upload it here to generate more trust.
So her logo does scale. Okay.
Yeah, this is literally you have a tick box where you can just say include the logo, or and that's probably what she did. It's probably what's on her main store.
Mm-hmm. So guys, there's a whole lot of really advanced stuff that we can do in here. And another thing is, I would bet, because since Kylie's store is the volume that it is, it's probably a plus store.
It definitely is, because she'll get reduced in merchant fees
that are going to pay for that too. So,
yeah,
I mean, obviously we don't know for fact because we're not on the back end, but we can almost guarantee it's a plus store, which means she has even more control over her checkout than anybody else does, than a regular Shopify account. Yeah. So she could do even way more cool stuff here than most people could. Now we've worked out a really cool way with some of our programmers and stuff that Matt's worked with. To actually really optimize this whole checkout page, customer information, payment process, all that shipping page, using some custom scripts that we've developed, which boosts this page results huge, right? And we're actually going to be giving that away at Build, Grow, Scale Live. So if you attend the event, you're going to get a thumb drive when you register on day one that has our script on it. And then the first session of day one, Matt is actually going to be walking you through the principles behind why we developed the script, how it works, and then helping you install it on your store. Actually, he'll be on stage talking about installing it, and our staff will be walking around the audience helping you guys actually install it during the first session of day one. So if you really want to get this page to just crush it and really boost your conversions and your revenue and back up without Shopify Plus, then you're going to want to attend Build, Grow, Scale Live, which is buildgrowscalelive.com. And it's July 23rd and 24th in Reno, Nevada, and we will give you this script that we're talking about right now. So guys, on this is a simpler critique because we already finished more of it and she has so much standard stuff here. But if the important thing here is, if your checkout looks like this, if your custom information page looks like this, fix it. Super easy. I guarantee you will see an uptick in your conversions if you simply brand it to look the same way as your site. Make the button colors match. Do anything you can within those little settings that you have, which take about 10 minutes max to edit. And you will see a big uptick on just this page. Also, if you're using a side slide cart like Kylie's, you're probably going to get better conversions if you go back to a traditional cart, even though it looks sexier, it looks more functional. But there's so many missing elements from that side slide cart, which is what so many themes use, that you're not helping yourself by using it, even though you think it looks cool. And the most important thing about a customer journey, right, is smoothing out and eliminating distractions. As Matt can tell you, half of his job when he's looking at a site and working with our partners and things like that is getting shit off the site.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's removing things for clarity. I literally, we didn't, and once we started tracking breadcrumbs, because we have a couple of clients that have the Shopify Plus. I honestly didn't realize how big of a deal it was.
So he's talking about this right here, guys.
Yeah.
Cart, customer information. These are called breadcrumbs, and they're clickable.
Yep. I made the assumption that, they're there and maybe people use them, but literally the people that click the cart to go backwards convert at a higher level than the rest of the people coming through the customer journey. So the fact that hers is broken when people click there means that she's missing out on a huge number of people that would complete their sale if just that one thing, that bug wasn't there. And now when I think about that being one of the most important spots, having a bug, it makes me want to look at clicking the other things on the site to figure out what's not working, because there's got to be more.
And you got to think about it. What he's saying, these are the people who make it to this customer information page are your most qualified, most ready and amped to buy. Their credit card is out. And then they want to check something and you've just lost them because you've confused them. They can't check what they wanted to check, right? So it's a huge, huge deal. And that one thing, I can't even imagine how much that's costing her. And yeah, is it still making money? Of course it is. Is she making a ton of money? Of course she is. It's not the fact that it's not making money. It's the fact that it could be doing so much better. And again, that's the reason we're picking a store that's already, top level store, because there's so many things that stores aren't doing. So even if you have one aspect of your business dialed in, let's say you're a ninja at traffic and you've got your great product and it's working, you're making money, there's so many other areas that are leaking. We look at it like a bucket, right? The water coming into it is the traffic and potential sales, and all the stuff all the leaks, every leak you have is poking a hole in that bucket and having water or lost sales go flying out. So your bucket just keeps dropping, and even though you're filling it, it just keeps getting shallower and shallower because all that stuff keeps flying out. And our job with revenue optimization is to slap as many Band-Aids and patches and fixes on those leaks as we can to keep that bucket filling, right? And that's really what we're talking about doing here.
Yeah, part of the reason the critique's slow too is she's literally missing an entire page.
Yeah, we would have had a whole other page to critique.
We can critique the slide out, but there's really no cart page to critique. And the checkout, I would say 99% of Shopify stores don't have Plus. So you have some functionality there, literally at least making it congruent with the rest of your site. But all the other things that we talked about, you can't change those unless you see that script that we're using that gives you the ability to add in trust symbols, change the name fields, and a few other things that's very cool. And that is why the stores are converting so well, or that's another reason.
Mm-hmm. So guys, with that kind of wraps up this critique. We've gone about 30 minutes. We wanted to keep these short so they don't dominate your whole day. We want you to get back to doing what you need to be doing, which is hopefully optimizing your store. But after last week, when we did that, we had so many people reach out saying, hey, critique my store. Oh, can you do it privately or whatever else? Well, to be honest, no, we can't. Like Matt and I just don't have the time to go out and critique a whole bunch of people's stores all the time. I mean, we would never get any of our work done. But we did talk about it. And we actually had a meeting with our revenue optimization team. Matt has meetings with them twice a week, but we had a talk with them. And they said, well, hey, what about letting one of us take it, do the optimization or do the critique or something like that? And we said, oh, that's an interesting idea. So Matt and I have a staff of revenue optimization experts that are US based that work on all of our sites and do site critiques and audits and split testing and all the different things that we're talking about here. They actually do it with us. Okay. It's how we're able to, generate the results we do because we have 300 plus hours a week of revenue optimization stuff happening because of our team, along with the split testing and our developers and our programmers and all of that stuff. But our team stepped up and said, hey, why don't you let one of us do the critique? You guys don't have time. So we said, hey, let's kind of roll this out. Let's pilot program this and see if it works out and see if you guys like it.
So you should be seeing a big Build, Grow, Scale logo on the screen right now. And if you don't know, Build, Grow, Scale is the company that Matt and I own, and it's the company that's responsible for all this crazy e-commerce awesomeness. So people are saying, hey, I love this. I want to get my store critiques just like this. How can I work with you guys? Or basically, how can I get you guys to rip apart my store so that I know what to improve, right? You're probably thinking that exact thing. Now, after talking about it with our team, we figured out something pretty cool because we've done a few of these public critiques already, and we've had people ask, and we had to figure out a solution because we didn't have one. Now we do. So let me show you what it is. Now, we actually call a formal critique a store audit, which is when we take a page-by-page deep dive look at all aspects of your store to figure out the good, the bad, and the ugly, much like you saw us do on this public critique, right? Now, the only difference would be that we would do yours in private so that you don't have to share your store with the world. And now we've decided to make some time available in our team's schedule to do private Shopify store audits for you. So here's the details. First thing to understand is that this is not a normal service offered by Build, Grow, Scale. We usually only do this kind of stuff for our clients and our Ecom Insider members, so it's not something we have ever offered publicly. But we've decided to open up 25 Shopify store audits to the public to see how this goes, and then if it goes well, we will possibly turn this into a regular thing. Now, if the link below in the description is still working, then there are still audits available. But if the link's down, well, then we've pulled the offer. For now, though, there are 25 audits available where we will do a full deep dive audit on your store with you live on a call where you will get to interact with one of our revenue optimization experts personally to go over your store in detail. The next thing to understand is that this is by application only. Now, don't freak out. It's not some crazy thing. It's just some basic questions telling us about your store and business so that we know for a fact that if we do a store audit for you, that it would be of benefit to you, meaning that we will only do the audit if we know that it will help you. Now, we do that because there are some stores out there that we can't help. Not many of them, but they are there. And if we aren't a right fit for you, we'll tell you that right up front and not waste any of your time. So again, this is for 25 stores, and we are going to ask that you apply to be considered for one of the audits. Now, after applying, if your store is accepted and we agree to do an audit for you, the cost to you would be $100. Nothing crazy, especially when you consider that our clients pay us a percentage of their gross revenue every single month. So this $100, it's a drop in the bucket compared to that. And all we are trying to do here is cover a portion of our revenue optimization experts' time while they do the deep dive audit on your store with you. Now, that's all there is to it. If you'd like us to do a private store audit with you to help you optimize your store and you're okay with the $100 cost of the audit, then please click the link in the description or the link right here on the screen to apply. Either link will take you straight to the application for the Shopify store audit. Once you fill out your application, our team will review the application and then reach out to you with either a yes, we can help you, or no, we can't. If we can help you, which in 99% of the cases we can, and you agree to pay the $100 fee for the audit, you'll be able to then schedule a live video store audit call with our team. And then we'll dive in and we'll help you get your store rocking. So click the link here on the screen or the link down in the description below and fill out your application now.
So, not supposed to be a really crazy pitch. I just wanted to explain it to you. But if that's interesting to you, if you like what you saw with Matt and I doing this, and you'd like to have it done on your own store, then fill out the application. Alex will get in touch with you, and hopefully we'll be able to do a cool critique for you. And if your store is really has something unique or something crazy, you might qualify to have Matt and I get on a call with you and do that for you as well. Okay, no promises there, but if it's something really, really, really crazy, we can take a look at it. All right.
I do have one that if we decide to do this again next week, I do have one that I'd like to do. So.
Oh, you have a store in mind already for another one?
Yeah. It's a sunglass site that we've talked to the owner before, and I'd love to do it.
Okay, cool. So there you go. And again, also, if you liked this, if you enjoyed our critique, our banter, it's actually a lot better when Matt's sitting here than there, because then the screens don't move as much and we can actually kind of feed off each other better. But if you did like this and you'd like to see more of these, again, or you have a site you'd like hey, I wonder what these guys are doing wrong, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Let us know that you enjoyed it. And, we're doing this because we want to. And as long as you guys are getting something out of it, we'll continue. But if not, then we can stop, right? So either way, let us know below. And again, if you'd like to get a critique, fill out the application and we'll get back to you. So with that, guys, see you later. Have a great day. Kick some ass in your stores, and we will see you next time. Ciao.